Yes, hi everyone. This is Otis again. So we are back to our fact finding mission and about Igbanke and Eka. We've been on this fact finding mission for quite a long time. So we've actually been missing it with our language, Eka language, and uh, the English. So for those of us who don't, who are from Igbanke but they don't understand the language, so we'll give the benefit of that for everybody. So again, my name is Otis. So today, I'll have the honor to introduce to you one of our guests today, Dr. Igudia. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself to you all. Is what our people say, the son of the soil. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
My name is Osarufin Manuel Gudia.
okay.
I'm a lecturer in the University of Ibadan. I'm from Idmoti Banking, and I'm also a publisher. I'm also an editor, and I'm also, um, in fact, I'm a man of so many parts. I'm also a farmer. So I'm from Igbanke, from Idumoti. I schooled in Igbanke Primary and Secondary School before I moved to Obafemi Awolowo University for university education. Then Masters University of Ibadan, back to Obafemi Awolowo where I got my PhD. Then that's the little. Then I've worked for several years in a publishing firm. Then moved to become a lecturer at University of Ibadan. Then I also have my own publishing firm as well and my farm. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Really, you have many parts. So I like that. I like that. And
Yes.
you've had him. He's So we are happy and honored to have him today. So we're going to go straight into what we have today. Like I said, it's about the fact-finding mission about the banker. We're trying to understand our history, understand our origin, our culture, so we'll be able to tell our story. So that's why we're here today. So we're going to go into the origin and the historical context. So we want you to tell us about the historical origin of the banker people. We've had the distorted history about ourselves, about the banker. So and from philosopher like you, so we'll be happy to hear from you, so that why that will become part of our fact finding mission and documentation.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
The history of Igbanke is a very complex one. It is complex in the sense that um, the different communities in Igbanke, we have about 6 communities that form that um, town called Igbanke. Now, each of the community came from different source. That is why it's a bit complex. Now, I will also incur into our relationship with the Benin, which is even causing the trouble that we have at the moment. Well, let me just first delve into the complex history. Um, the people of Igbanki came from different places, mainly because I think at that time, Igbanki was a kind of a camp for the Bini warriors. Anytime they were going for war, because they conquered the whole southern Nigeria up to River Niger at Asaba. I think it was the River Niger that stopped them from crossing to Igbo land. The other side, the western Nigeria, they conquered the whole part, even up to Lagos. That's why if you get to Lagos, you see some parts of Lagos answering Benin names. And even the king of Lagos, the Oba of Lagos, is Oba. Is the only Yoruba king that bears the name Oba, just because of the relationship with the Benin Empire. Even Ife and the rest, if you read the book written by the Oba of Benin, you will know what I'm saying. So at that time, during the conquest, Igbanke was used as a base for the military. After fighting, they would come back to Igbanke. So that made the place a kind of haven for people who were escaping from different parts, who came and settled in different areas. I think the area that was used then was Omolua. That was the area that was used as the base. And the whole Igbanki indigenes came from different sources. Some came from the east. Most of them came from the east, mainly because that was the closest place to them. Then some came from Weto, some came from Biri, some came with Modi, the second from Amao, some came from Eastern land and all that. So, but what unites them all? And that's why you see that Igbanki did not have one, or does not even till now have one king, due to the complex nature, the way they came together. And we can say that Igbanki actually came mainly, that's the majority of them, came from the Igbo land. There's no doubt about it. Because some people have claimed that our proximity to the east or to the caste was what made us to speak Ika language. That is not true. Because we know some communities, for instance, if you go to a place like Ogada, you see Ogadi Dmoji, Ogadi Du. They speak different languages, despite the fact that there's no boundary demarcation between them. So, which means that proximity does not mean language capture. They cannot capture. There would have been a wide difference between our own language or dialect and the Agbos. But if you ask me, I would say that if Ika is a language, Igbanki dialect would have been the central. Because Igbanki dialect is pure Ika. We are all Ika. And we speak Ika language. There are a lot of things we need to know about language, dialect, and culture. If you read well, I don't want to go into linguistics. I would have said that there is a very, in fact, there is no, I can say, very thin difference between language and culture.
Yeah.
If we speak Ika, Ika is our culture. There is no doubt about it, because you cannot separate language and culture. They are one and the same, and they're inexplicably intertwined. And for people to now say that Igbanki is a Bini community or town, to me, it's absurd. Because the language is Ika, the people are Ika, the culture Ika, everything is Ika. And people who are saying that are trying to say that we are not Agbo. Agbo is a town. Ika is the culture and the language. We are Ika people. And by if we are to talk of the complex origin itself, we find out that there is no town, no city. In fact, the whole West Africa came from the same source, according to the linguists. We are all called Kwa languages. They say all Kwa languages came from one. But it was intertribal war that separated all of us, that scattered. And after a long while, a language will emerge from the same one source. So that's why you see that in linguistics, the deep structure of all the West African languages are the same. It's only the surface structure. There is, I cannot start explaining deeper surface structure here, but we know that when you say in our language now, Obi Asoka Muso.
Yes.
If a Yoruba man wants to say it, you say Inumidun, which is the same structure.
Yeah.
You understand? And if others want to say, they will use the same pattern, which means they all follow the same deep structure, but the surface, the spoken one, is where you have variations. So we want to say that our language tells where we come from. And Igbanki itself, Ika itself, is a variety, or it's a variation of Igbo language. That's the truth. We are a distant dialect of Igbo language. But the rule of language says that after a while, when a dialect is no longer mutually intelligible, it can become a language of its own. That's why we make bold to say that Ika is a distinct language. So let me pause.
You are an Anyoma person. Come, let us discuss. We have a very important discussion this morning. If you listen keenly on the video you watch, the man makes certain points available. First, you an Anyoma son who believe the lies of the Benin expansionists and the Benin ambassadors among us, claiming that Igbo means slave. Did you hear what the man said? That the Benin Empire conquered from Benin down to Oshimiri, but they did not cross over to the other side of the Niger. Remember that in those days, there's nothing like south-south or southeast. Now, if this is true, you will not believe that it was you and me in Anioma that the Benin soldiers sold to Portuguese as slaves. This is a proper. So when they say Ndi Igbo means slave, you are calling yourself slave. You want to exonerate yourself from the real fact. This is a point that the man is making. Let me analyze it to you. And Murphy Ogiso, in the early video I posted before, said it that in Benin they call the Anioma people Igbo because they believe that they are slaves, not because Igbo means slave. The problem is Benin does not have two words for the slave, but they say this slave is from Igbo. That's why they call it Igbo because that is their own pronunciation. Having cleared this, another thing you have to understand that as a Benin man who thinks in the 21st century that you own us, or as an Anioma person who thinks you are from Benin, you are getting it wrong. Conquering does not mean origin. I said it time without number. The Romans conquered Israel during the time of Jesus Christ. That was why crucifixion was a method of punishment for a crime. The Romans conquered Israel, but they does not own Israel. Britain conquered Nigeria, including the Benin Kingdom, destroy it and take over Benin to prison in Calabar. That does not mean that Benin is a British origin. Get it into your head. I get them before no be property. And this is why some of you Benin are living in ignorance. When we say you will not get sense, not be say we insult you. I said it time without number. I am not against Ile Benin. I am not against Benin. I'm just against your mentality in the 21st century. Person know they conquer a land. For you to say you conquered us, it means that we own the land, but you force yourself onto us. English now your mate. And that is what this man is saying in this video. You can hear him clearly. Another thing the man said that is profound is that Iwanke is generally Igbos. It's majorly Igbos that came to form Iwanke. Now let me tell you what is going on. Imagine that the Iwanke people did not resist Oba of Benin in the 21st century. In the 25th century, this thing that happened now, that the Zoomin they have put Enoge to rule the Iwanke communities 500 years to come. The same thing that is happening today would have happened again. The same story that they are the one that found us. Because listen, in the ancient time, citizen does not have right to share the history of their place. And that thing has been passed down to us to today, that whenever you want to share history, people will tell you, keep quiet, go and ask your elders. Why? Because when a stranger comes into a town, it is left for the king to tell the people the story of their town. So imagine in the ancient time when they conquer Iwanke and they put Enoge there, they will not say, whose town is it? The king, Benin, and the Benin person will say, I'm a descendant of Benin. That is how this story started all about. All these is Seluku people. I said it time without number, that it might be of a truth that this Seluku king is a truly Benin person because he was installed in that place. But the people he's ruling is not Benin. Because as of that time, they will say, let's go and ask Elder who we are. And the Elder, knowing who he is, no saying I'm plant and there to rule the people. We not say I'm a descendant of Benin. Everyone will say, hey, so now Benin guys. Yes, that's how the story started. If not for the generation where we are, where people like us can study and share this story. In fact, nobody has the right before to share it. It looks as if it's a sacrilege. You don't know anything. Even to today, that thing is still affecting us. Some people will say, go and ask your elders. Go and ask your king. If an elder does not speak, nobody believes what you are saying. The same thing happened in the way they interpret Quran, the way they interpret Bible. If a sheikh or an imam do not interpret Bible, Muslim will not believe. Nobody wants to study it until it was Christians that break the band. People like Martin Luther for Germany that break that band and say, no, we can read this Bible by ourselves. We don't wait for the priest to interpret it to us. The same thing with the history. So imagine that the Iwanke people today did not withstand their ground, that they will not fall or be suspended. This Inoge they will install this year. 200 years to come, we will not be like, Iwanke is a Benin community. This is what has been happening in the ancient times. And this is what we are trying to correct. We are not an enemy. We are just trying to set the record straight. People say we want to change history. Well, no, we are looking at history from a 3D angle, not a 1D angle. Where they come and tell us, say, the king ran away and they found another place. Waiting they pursue them. Since now everybody I don't clear, waiting they pursue the prince for Benin, we know they see him again. This is what is pursuing them. Assuming the Inoges were installed, when these people were suspended, they stepped down and the Inoge is installed. This is the runaway prince we are talking about. Say runaway prince came and found the Iwanke. Thank God for this professor from Ibadan who said this story and he set the record straight. We are gonna be here to be puncturing your lies. We are not the ones who are now speaking. The Iwanke people videos, if you go to my page, videos of Iwanke people speaking are coming out one after the other. People should start seeing things the way it is. We cannot live with these lies. It is long overdue. We don't have anything in connection with Benin. The fact that he used the Portuguese gunpowder to come and corrupt our people, kidnap the ones you kidnap, and put them. And the reason why it was so, because every Igbo community live on their own. We live separately. We know they formed. That's the same. We say we don't get king. Yes, we don't get one particular voice speaking for us. We know they get king. What we have is Opaluku. It is the Britain and this kind of yabbing that made some people start having kings because they want to be like you. But then, nothing the king has done for us, nothing. They are politically being manipulated. We are happy living without no king, so that I can be able to be a king in my own. When you have a king, he subjugate you like the way he's doing it in Benin. They subjugate you and turn you to Ovioba. That's not what we want. In the 21st century, everybody has an equal human right. We need to experience society as equal and equal citizens. That doesn't mean we will not give respect to the elders. I'm out of here, Joe.